Buenos dias, buenos noches, whatever it is where you're watching. Welcome along to round 11 of Invictus Racing League PCF2 season, where we're racing at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix. Sorry, I was reading a script, everybody, and I've made a bit of an error, but we will move on, because we are here in Spain, as I say, for the Spanish Grand Prix. Sorry, everyone. This is very unprofessional. It's very unprofessional. I do apologise.
The track's there on the side.
But welcome to Spain. Welcome to Spain. Yes, here we are. 33 laps, like I say, around the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, for our drivers with 2 DRS.
Hello everybody, I'm here as well.
I'm going to have to throw to my commentary partner, as always, Cameron.
Yeah, well I hope you've got your sun cream packed and ready, was meant to be your line, and yes I do, I have my Factor 50 right at the ready, and the cars are already on track to save our souls here, because wow, oh my, that was an interesting experience. Oh yeah, so we're at Spain, the track which has been paying for many drivers, but it's getting close at the top end, isn't it, Fozzy? Yes, it is. It's getting very close indeed. We have a fight for the championship on our hands, and it is coming down to the wire between our top 3 drivers, and we will be looking at that. We've got the likes of Danza, who's leading the way by just a couple points, nothing major. In fact, he's leading the way by a singular point. In fact, I can show you here. And there we go. So right, we'll get there in the end. So, yeah, you've got Danza there leading by a singular point. Behind him is Josh Heinze. And behind him is Adam. And it's only a couple points that separate these 2 drivers. And tonight, potentially, Danza can claim that ever so wanted crown via winning the championship. Now, there are a few things in the way of doing that, and if we just have a look at that now, Danza, in order to win the championship tonight, he needs to win the race. He also needs to get the fastest lap, that extra point. Not only that, he needs Josh Heinze, who is P2 in the championship, to not score a point, so a dreadful race from Heinze is on Danza's wish list, as well as Adam, who is P3, to score 2 points or less this evening. And it will be interesting to see if he can do that, and I don't know, if you trust on anyone, you can trust on Danza, indeed. And, yeah, so, drivers are out on qualifying, if we just get back to that for you. We've got, yep, so we're riding on board with a racing point now, just having a few technical difficulties, as is sort of required, I think, here now. And, yeah, there we are then. So, just Ramps is in the way, as we're just 15 minutes into qualifying. And, yeah, Josh Heinze, we know he's quick. He's quick around 1 lap, as been shown already. And I don't know if Fozzy is with me in the commentary booth, but there's Danza, championship leader.
I am. I don't know if you can hear me. There are some audio issues in terms of bandwidth, I'd like to say.
Ah, this is like FP1. Tell you what, has Biggin Hill gone down again? Have we managed to break Biggin Hill?
Yeah, someone phone up Biggin Hill and see what's going on there. We might be okay now.
Yeah. I can hear you.
You can hear me and I can hear you. Well, we'll see how long it goes. And so can the internet. Yes, the internet would have heard the slight stumble at the start as well, but we will ignore that and move on as we start to get some times on the board. It's looking good for the Alfa Romeos. We have Gaudio obviously putting in the top lap at the moment. Freon, down to 4th as Josh Heinze takes the top position there. As I say every single time, these times will change as we go through the session. We've still got just under 15 minutes to go of this qualifying session, so all is to play for. But yeah, as you've mentioned, it is getting really close, isn't it, at the top of the championship? Just a few points separating the top people in that, so we could see a winner crowned tonight if, like you say, all those outcomes do come true. Danza, though, the man who is possibly going for that top spot in the championship, currently out on the mediums, or at least that's how he has got fitted at the moment. We'll see when he comes out and starts putting some lap times in. We do get a lot of yellow flags around this time as well, as we see people slowing down just to let people go past and start putting a qualifying lap in as well. So I don't worry too much about the yellow flags, but I think there might have been a spin from the Renault not too long ago, because I saw a yellow flag, and according to our timing screens, he wasn't actually moving at all. So maybe there was a bit of a spin for one of the Renaults.
Yeah, we see traffic always being a bit of an issue during qualifying, especially when the drivers are so close on pace like we have in this field. And it's all about getting out of everyone's way, whilst also trying to get yourself a good track position for your flying lap. Fozzy and I hopped in practice, which was never a good idea. It never is, and I don't think it ever will be. And you can tell we're commentators and not necessarily drivers. But this track is quite aerodynamically testing, especially turn 1, 2 and 3. That lovely section there, the right-hander. You can experience up to 4 Gs in real life, as we see Adam just backing off in Sector 3, ready to go for his flying lap. We're right on board with Adam here, and we'll take you through a lap. This tricky chicane, as always, you've got to try and capitalise the most out of it. It's a difficult one, especially putting the power down. Oh, and he puts the power down too much and enters the pits with 12 minutes to go. Ferrari having issues, understatement, of the last couple of years there in the pits, as it looks like just a couple of them are just waiting to go in the garage. Who is out a lap, though, is Zero, the Red Bull driver. Hasn't got DRS on, so I think this is a warm-up lap. Coming in, obviously the track layout will be changing the next year. Fozzy?
Yep. I mean, championship leader Danza is on an out lap at the moment, just making his way through Sector 3, about to start his first flying lap of the session, so we'll ride on board with him and follow this lap around to see how he does. Taking it nice and easily through Sector 3, don't want to be ruining the tyres before you've even started your lap. That's going to hinder your performance towards the back end of your flying lap, but here we go then. Get a good drive onto the main straight and see how we can go for this lap. Keep it within track limits. You don't want to be disqualifying before you've even started, but here we go then. 8th gear all the way down. Speed of over 200 miles per hour as we come down to turn 1, getting past some of them cars there. Braking heavily at a 50-meter board, swinging it right, hitting the apex, kiss the apex with a left of 2 as well, and then easy on the power all the way around 3. It's a very tough corner this. You don't want to be putting too much steering lock on. You want to keep it nice and smooth as you go through there. Keep it to the left and then kick it to the right as you come down into 4. Now take it easy through here as well. Going too wide and you'll be in the gravel. That's one of the things with these old school racing tracks. There's a bit of a lock up from there. Old school racing tracks, gravel not too far away from the track limits. So one wrong move and you could be finding yourself beached, or even yet worse, in the wall. Some awkward cameras you go through the complex of 7 and 8 there, but then it's a tight right-hander as we come down onto 9, and according to my timing data, this lap is red, which means it has been invalidated, so a bit of a track limit issue for Danza on this lap. He's not going to be too happy with that. It means he's going to have to go into the pits, maybe get a new set of boots, and come out again, do an out lap, and then go for it all once more on another flying lap. So we'll see what he does at the end of this lap, see if he does go into the pits for some new boots, or if he does go for just that other flying lap. And it looks like, yeah, he is going to be diving into the pits. Obviously, he'd need to recharge his energy. But yeah, it looks like new set of softs for Danza. He'll give it another go next time around.
Yeah, it just puts a bit more pressure on the drivers, not having that banker lap to fall back on. We've seen so many times in real life, such as with Red Bulls with that second driver seat who has an awkward qualifying. You don't get a banker lap in. It means you have to really rush around to get your warm-up and flying lap in for your under the time limit. So yeah, it's worrying a little bit for Danza, I'd imagine, but I'm sure he's remaining cool-headed. MJ Koo is down in 17th on an out lap. But Adam, who was leading the championship at one point, shown by his dominant display a couple rounds, is still on top of the timetables. So Adam is at the top, and Josh Heinze right behind, as we come to expect, as Adam now goes on a flying lap. We'll just see how this goes. Headlong run into turn 1. Old school track, never too far away from a bit of green stuff and a bit of gravel. And this corner will be tricky. This is one of the main overtaking opportunities in the race. Using DRS into turn 1, trying to hang it round the outside here, around turn 3, just getting loose on the curve slightly. Keep a nice tighter line. And now you can move up slightly to the left like Amberton does there. Purple sector 1, looking pretty nice for him. And then that's where I spun yesterday, no need to go over that. And then we head into this other left-hander. Now this is the fun part. This could actually set you up for the overtaking opportunity again if you get this corner right here. The camber, as we mentioned before, is very awkward, very ugly, and it's easy to eliminate your track time and invalidate, as we've seen with Danza. And this now is the next one, heading into the final sector, and the brakes and lock up on the brakes, that won't help. But that is really your overtaking opportunity. There isn't many in Spain. It's all about being consistent. Oh, there's two cars in the way. Bit of traffic paradise, as Yuki Tsunoda would say. The other Alpha Tauri, that's impeded him, and I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Josh Heinze sets a 1:15.034. And I think that's a little bit late because that's only coming through now and he's less than that. But go ahead, Fozzy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that traffic. I was watching the track map, and as Adam does go fastest on the lap by a few tenths, I thought he was going to get caught by traffic in Sector 3 because everyone seemed to be coming into a bit of a traffic jam as they went through Sector 2. I thought he might end up catching him, and he did. It didn't impact him too much. He still managed to get the top time. But yeah, that's the trouble with this track. It's very tight through them last few corners, especially from 12, 13, 14 and 15, the last 4 corners of the track. So yeah, as we see Adam just moving out of the way of, I think that was 0 on a flying lap in the Red Bull as well. So yeah, just got to be careful with traffic around here. So one of the troubles with qualifying, you don't want to be getting in the way of too many people. As we see Adam's actually near enough coming to a stop to let Dejsan Lazic by, who I believe is on his flying lap. So I'm going to ride on board with Dejsan Lazic in the Ferrari, currently at the bottom of the timing grid. Hopefully won't be the case come the end of this lap. I believe it's an flying lap anyway. It does seem to be pushing quite hard as he opens DRS down that second DRS straight. All the way into 8th gear and heavy on the brakes about 70 metres in. Kiss that apex and gotta be careful here. Again, camber, another thing as we've mentioned on previous corners, camber on turn 11 as well is a little bit dodgy. Drivers need to be careful going over that. And these curbs through these last few sections as well. Really quite high curbs. If you touch them with your back wheels, you do have the risk of a spin. But anyway, he seems to have negotiated them quite nicely. Hugs that curb on the right, keeps it in track limits. And he makes it up into P5 with a 1:15.6.
Yeah, Danza, who had his lap invalidated last time, is on a flying lap again. But he was lucky, really. I believe a Red Bull span. I think it was either Brownie or Zero. It's the only Red Bulls on the track. Coming out onto turn 9, overcooked it, spun. Yellow flag along the second DRS straight. Oi! Up that traffic was close on the entry. Wow, on the seat there. Glad I got my seatbelt on. But Danza, now that's a couple of times he's had a bit of traffic in the way. And will this be a good lap? It doesn't look like he's invalidated it. So we're going to the line. What's it going to be from 16th to 6th? My oh my, that's going to cause some issues. His two competitors, Adam and Jos Heinze, on the sharp end of the championship, and find themselves right at the top of the time tower. Danza here behind Dejsan Lazic. Obviously, he had that issue coming into that sort of chicane area, which everyone dreads, I think. And yeah, that seems to have really cost him some time there. And again, like Ferrari, or Red Bull, sorry, that spun. And Fozzy.
Yeah, it was 0. Again, he just span at turn 2. He's got a bit of damage on the front wing, so he's not going to be getting a very good lap. Unless he comes back into the pits, which I imagine he will do at the end of his lap. But yeah, spin for 0. Not what he would have wanted. We can see him going wide as he lets the Alfa Romeo of Keiran go by. But 0 down in 14th at the moment with a 1:16.9. Not the best for the Red Bull outfit. His teammate starting in the back half of the grid as well. Brownie with 1:16.5, so a few tenths ahead, almost half a second ahead. Him in P11, but yeah, we saw Keiran going on that lap. I believe it was a flying lap. I'm going to ride on board with Keiran as he negotiates the negative camber of turn 7 and keeps it tight to the right as we go onto the second DRS straight of the track through turn 9 down in towards turn 10, which in the real world is being revamped for this year's Grand Prix. It'll be a slightly wider corner. It's not going to be as sharp as it will take a slightly alternate layout around there. But he's got a clear tracker ahead of him, has Keiran, as he comes up to the end of this lap now. No traffic ahead of him. Careful of those curbs. He's kissing them, but he's not spinning around on them, so it's pretty good. So put the power down. 6, 7, 8 gears. Let's see where this is going to get Keiran. He's currently P10, crosses the line, goes one step ahead alongside his teammate into P9. Cameron.
Yeah, decent performance from Keiran there. The Alfa Romeos showing they're quite close to each other really on performance. See a couple of attempts there. Dino, and around goes Keiran. Never mind, commentator's curse at its finest there. Luckily he's got his lap in. He just needs to not ruin other people's lap now. And there we go, give it a spin, light up the tyres, and end up facing the same wall again. But we're off, watch his tyres on the way in. He's got a fair gap to the cars behind. But just worrying about Danza here. I mean, he qualified, he's been like massively good at qualifying in comparison to the likes of Adam and Jos Heinze. P8 in France, he had a pretty good result there. So he has had podiums in 5 out of the last 6 races, so you can always count on him to take the dying chances of a championship, and I'm sure he'll want to take them this round. Gaudio there, the Alfa Romeo up into P4, so just jumping ahead of Keiran by quite a few positions there. But Jos Heinze and Adam seem quite safe here. We've got Nico as well, the other AlphaTauri, who was out for a couple rounds this season, alongside his teammates. AlphaTauri leading the way in the constructors, and he's currently on the second row, so not a bad place to be, Fozzy.
Nicholas just set a purple sector 2 as he comes around into sector 3. Sorry, not Nicholas, Josh Heinz just set a purple sector 2. Coming around to finish his second flying lap, I believe. He's currently P2 on the timing grid. Will he be able to jump ahead of Adam? Well, he's got about 4 attempts to make up as the Alfa Romeo dives out of the way into the pit to get out of his way. Activate DRS, 7th gear, 8th gear. Where's that going to put Josh Heinz? Well, he doesn't seem to have improved much further from where he was. He remains in P2, which he'll be happy with, I think, because his race performance over the past few rounds has been phenomenal. We've seen really good results from Josh Heinz, 4 podiums in a row, and he won last time around in China as well. So if he starts on P2, he should be able to capitalise that into possibly a P1 or at least remain in podium positions, which will be phenomenal for his fight in the title fight as well. He's going to be chasing down Danza. They all want that top position in the driver standings. And it is close in those driver standings, as we've said many times, and we'll be referring to throughout the race. Don't you worry, because it is, as we come into the penultimate rounds, a very close fight. And qualifying performance on a track like this is slightly more important than what you might see on tracks gone by, Cameron.
Yeah, qualifying performance indeed. Josh Heinz kind of was, when we came in on the second half of the season, kind of seemed like an outside shot at the championship, but now he's propelled that outside shot to a... He's very in contention. He's up there now. He's only, he's 84 points, 1 point behind Danza. And at the moment, that's looking pretty good considering where Danza is down in 7th. So Josh Heinz has come from this outside shot to being right in the ballpark of claiming the big trophy here. As we've got another spin, and Fozzy.
Yep, Dino up there into P3. Very nice for the McLaren outfit. You'll be happy with that. He widens the gap between the two AlphaTauris. Nicolate's now down to P4. Dino's that was very good, a 1:15.3, but he is still over half a second behind Josh Heinz in P2, so a little bit of ground to make if he wants to be coming onto the front row of the grid. Good to see that, though. And he's now going to be on an in lap, I believe. Who's on a flying lap? Well, it looks like the AlphaTauri of Nicolate's. Talk of the devil, as we see him. Oh, as we see MJ Cooper retire from the session. I believe that might have been a bit of an incident on the DRS straight between turns 9 and 10. I'm going to ride on board with Dino and see if we can see that issue. Yeah, it looks like MJ Cooper's had a heavy impact. The wheels come off the car just on that second DRS straight. We might see it if we ride on board with Nicolate's now. Or it looks like the stewards have managed to get rid of MJ Cooper's car. But yeah, that wasn't the best for MJ Cooper. He probably would have wanted to get a bit further up than 6, but I'm sure he will be happy with that. Cameron. Yeah,
TCSR Farnham having some tribulations in turn 1 by looks. Oh, trikey, we're going. There we go. In the grass. Just saw him there riding on board with the Mercedes driver. We are in the dying ditches and dying seconds of this qualifying session. TCSR Farnham, I don't think he's going to get his outlap done in time here. Definitely not. And who is coming up to the line? We've got the Alfa Romeo. P3 again, displacing Dino. Again, that second row seat once again. And there is the qualifying. There is the checker flag. Adam is carrying a pole and he's just disqualified this lap. So that's the best he's going to get at the moment. Who else is going to perform? Let's have a look, Fozzy.
Yep, not Adam Danza, I think. Got to keep an eye on him. He's just set a purple sector 2. Will he be able to go on pole? Well, like I say, he's had 3 podiums in a row. He'll be wanting to make that 4 and take a further lead in the championship by getting onto the front row here and storming ahead in the race. But he goes around the final corner. He's currently P8. Where is the Mercedes going to put it? He's going to put it up into P3. It's not the front row, but he can work with that quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, it's the top side of the championship in reverse order. We've got Adam, who finds our P3 in the points, is first on track. Josh Heinz second, who is in second in the championship. And Danza, a little bit of work to do in the race if he wants to claim it this evening. We're going to have to find out over... We've got quite a few laps, so I'm sure he is ready. And it looks like most drivers did qualify on the soft tyre. So that is what strategy will come into today. Soft to medium, I believe, is what we're expecting here around China. Not China, that was... Sorry, I'm on a completely different continent. And Spain. So, yes. So I've got memories of that epic race last time, and it's come to the forefront of my mind. But Nico into the pits. All the drivers. That is session over and done with. But good job from Dino. Great job from Gaudio, actually. He's P6, so quite far in front of his teammate. In fact, by about 5 tenths. And those tenths all matter, especially in such a close league. At the back, we've got Marmite, who is filling in the Racing Point this week. He is... a reserve driver. Had a pretty good debut last time, or whenever he debuted, it was pretty good. And Bob P40, which is a very good qualifying position. And we will see. TS Bunty had a great run of being in the points consistently, and unfortunately that came to an end a couple rounds ago. And it's not looking great for him, P15, but it's somewhere to work from. 17 cars on the grid, that's qualifying over and done with. And on we go into where it matters, the race. But Danza, the championship leader, is not out in front this time. Fozzy.
He's not, no. Desmond Ladgett's managed to bring it up to P7 as well in the Ferrari, and the top 7 all under 1 second between them. So it's going to be quite close. As we know, Spain's a track, like I attempted to say at the start, where qualifying can be quite difficult. The race can be quite difficult, and overtaking can be quite difficult. Qualifying means quite a lot in these races.
It does. Qualifying is important, but the points come out on Saturday. No, not on Saturday. Well, it's a Wednesday. The points come out in the race. We're having a mare. Let's just get the green flag going. Cars go around the track. We shout at them, and then the race ends, and we're all like, "Wow, yes, here we go." Right, come on. Oh. It's fine. We need to.
I want to apologize. I don't know what's happened to me and Cameron today. We had a bit of a laugh before the stream, but we would have thought I would have passed by now. But whatever the funny thing was, still seems to be remaining in both of us. Can we have a wet race just to throw a bit more? Just to throw a spanner in the works. The rain is back. It wouldn't be an Invictus IRL PCF2 race without a little bit of rain, would it? No, it wouldn't. So this might throw things into contention. But we've seen top drivers in for championship do very well in the rep over the past few rounds. I think we've had a bit of rain in at least the past 4, maybe 5 races. So Jos, Adam and Danza, we expect them all to do and perform very, very well, especially with the qualifying positions that they've just gone and got very high up the grid. So yeah, this is definitely a race to watch. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I am as well. Bit of rain, never hurt nobody except from those drivers who spin out. It hurt their mechanics, I'm sure. And 20 seconds so we get on board with the formation lap. We're used to rain now. I wonder if it's us bringing this rain to the championship. I don't think they had rain before when we joined, so I do apologise. I hope you get your wet weather umbrellas out and all sorts of things like that. Sit tight though, because I'm sure this race will be a thriller once again. As we just look at the pits for where the cars are going to leave. Oh, Dave has left the session. Oh dear, that hasn't gone well. But here is the formation lap then. Adam, line up in the front row. It's a good time now. This is actually why formation laps are quite crucial. Not only does it help you warm up the tyres, etc., but you get a feel for the grip of the track. And we had a wet start in the real world around last week's race, and it's a wet start here, all on inters though, so the likes of Gasly don't need to fear like they did last time. And yeah, O'Davis joined again. He should be able to get back in the car, but you can already see the spray there, and I think we're going to be in for a bit of a sailing game around here, and especially turn 3, you could already see the lack of grip playing against them. Tyres need to be warmed, drivers need to be warmed up, and we need to get to the grid as well, Fozzy.
We do, yeah. Don't be spinning off here. That's well, if you end up with wing damage, that's definitely going to hinder you. I think down towards turn 1, it's a bit of a funnel. The cars are going to be all trying to make positions into turn 1 and turn 2, but it's a tight track. Like I say, it's not far between you and the gravel. And with wet conditions, we may be seeing a few bits of sailing, as you mentioned. But drivers are trying to mitigate that by warming up their tyres and getting their brakes in the right position. I think these are very good drivers. Well, I know they're very good drivers, so they'll be knowing that you can't win a race on the first lap, but you can easily lose a race on the first lap, especially the first corner. So I think we might see some people hanging back a little bit, playing it safe, and seeing what they can do as the race goes on. It looks like Dino and Gaudio have had a bit of a collision on the formation lap. Understandable with these conditions. But yeah, Adam's keeping them all bunched up quite nicely at the front there. So nicely, but they're almost running into the back of each other and having more disqualifications. But they seem to be playing ball quite nicely at the moment. Let's see then how this is gonna go. Go on, Cameron.
Do you remember the childhood tale, or whatever it was, about rain, go to Spain? Well, I'm regretting that childhood song. Do you remember that? I'm sure they were saying about rain and going to Spain. Well, we're in Spain, it's raining, so...
I remember rain, go away. I don't remember rain, go to Spain.
Maybe we were just very against Spain and their nice weather. It's certainly not nice today, though, as the cars get to the grid. I'm going to rest my voice and get ready for the race start, Fozzy.
Yes. Yes, here we go. We're going to see the cars rolling up now. Like I say, Adam's kept them all bunched up very nicely. There's a bit of a gap between MJ Coupe and Keiran, but nothing too terrible. Nothing that's going to be impacting the start of the race for anybody. As we drive through some of the cars now due to well, let's just say, the game and a bit of ghosting. It's never hurt anybody though, but yes, here we go then. Pole position, Adam. Jos Heinze joins him on the second position alongside him. Danza and Nicolates in P3 and 4. Here we go, it's round 11 in Spain. Cameron, it's all yours.
Thank you indeed, Fozzy. Here we go then. The lights begin to illuminate. You can hear the sound of the engines. All lights are on. And we are underway for 33 laps of racing here in Spain. It's a good getaway from Adam, although going slightly sideways around the back. There's a Renault already in the wall. Or it's Jos Heinze into turn 1 leading the way. The AlphaTauri looking towards the inside further back. You've got a Haas making a mega move. There's been contact between the Mercedes and the McLaren. But leading out front is Jos Heinze. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 understandably. Danza down to third, or up to third. Adam P2, but it's Jos Heinze leading the way, but still it's not over yet. You've got Adam chasing 3 temps. We see the cars all concertinaing in the back. It's Adam leading the way. The AlphaTauri driver just trying to get into the position that he needs to be, and that is leading this race. That yellow flag is slowly resolving itself. I believe it was a Mercedes, but here we go then on the run into turn 6, 7 and 8. The tricky chicane. Want to be careful on track limits. Got to be careful on overcooking. Jos Heinze almost overcooks it, but the pressure hasn't overboiled yet around this right-hander. Turn 9, chuck it in. A yellow flag again, sector 1. Adam going slightly wide on the entry into the DRS straight. No DRS this time, and he goes for a move down the inside. Is he going to get it? He tries to career the car through. It's Jos Heinze still on the outside. The Haas against the AlphaTauri, and the Haas has more traction, but the AlphaTauri's back for more. Taking a wider line, going for a switchback. It hasn't worked as we head into the tricky chicane. It's still Jos Heinze out in front, started P2. He finds himself leading so far. It's Danza still in P3. He's got a mountain to climb here, and Adam just slips away from Jos Heinze, and lap 1 is overdone with, but don't go anywhere. There's plenty more to come, Fozzy.
Yeah, Danza's, look at the gap between him and Adam. It's massive. Absolutely massive. It's almost a second between him and Jos Heinze. What a terrible start. I think we have a spin at the back of one of the Renaults, but a terrible start for Dino. He's down by 9 positions, got caught up in that turn 1 altercation with Dave. I believe there was also a Renault involved with that as well. But yeah, Dave down back in P17. He's down 7 positions as him, Bob, and Just Ramps go into the pits. Bob gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so they're double stacking down at Renault. The timing grid's going to do its annual little bit of a tango as things get sorted out. But yeah, Dan's starting to close that gap as much as he can. But fantastic for Jos Heinze. It's fantastic for his championship fight as well. He gets past Adam on the first lap up into the top position. As all the cars start to, we have a yellow flag in sector 3, but I believe that's nothing to worry about too much according to our track map. Yeah, Cameron, it's wow. We were expecting quite a chaotic race start. That was definitely chaotic.
Oh, yeah, chaotic indeed. The AlphaTauri finding the limit of traction there into the braking zone. We know that the game likes to throw up some issues, such as with the marshals just playing with the yellow flags. Just, you know, here's one, here's a few, here's another. But yeah, we are still going, and we are going indeed. Adam just trying to chase on to Jos Heinze. He's closed that gap a little bit, but yeah, as you said, Danza just oh, there we go, poor exit out of the final chicane. That's going to compromise him even further.
Yeah, it was.
He needs to, another snap bit of oversteer there. Lucky to keep the car going in the same direction as everyone else, but 2.3 seconds from Adam. At the moment, that championship's just looking like it's slipping away this evening, but don't worry though, the championship and the season isn't over just yet. 6 tenths between the 2 front runners. Further back, you got TS Bunty claiming on Farnham at the Racing Point versus the Ferrari driver. TS Bunty started 15th, I believe, already into 11th. Very good gain of positions there. O'Dave leaves the session. Nothing to worry about particularly there. He's been having a few issues, but 2 Red Bulls in the points, P8 and P9 respectively. Deja Lazic, he had a interesting qualifying, finds himself P7. MJQ, the other Haas, one Haas leading the race, the other stuck in the midfield behind Nicolates. We're seeing the other drivers on the other garages sort of not having the pace to be up front with their teammates, as you just see through here, the dirty air coming in to cause issues. Again, this corner is difficult in the dry, it's even more difficult in the wet. You'll be careful not to exceed that track limit there, but 5 tenths between Gaudio and Danza. Instead of Danza catching on to Adam, he's finding himself susceptible to an attack here from Gaudio over the next coming through laps, Fozzy. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Danza. What, you found something exciting? And was it by any chance? Nicolates, Gaudio and Danza all seem to get a little bit tight as the fight for third continues. That bottom step of the podium. Lots of laps to go. Yeah, don't worry about the podium too much. Worry about the lap ahead of you. Danza is getting swamped. Gaudio's right on his gearbox, and he's fallen so far back behind Adam. The gap now, almost 4 seconds. I don't know what's happened to Danza. He's just not had the traction in the wet. Andriy gets a 3-second time penalty. He's obviously been going wide on the track limits and testing them a little bit too far. But yeah, Gaudio, really gaining on Danza. I reckon we might be seeing a move coming up over the next few laps. He needs to, Danza does, really find that pace. He's just not warmed up his tyres. They're not in the tyre temperature range that he really wants them to be. Looking at our timing grid now, Adam and Jos Heinz going around turn 4 as we have a yellow flag in sector 3. I believe that was the Renault of Bob having a few issues. Maybe on that negative camber, like I say. 10-second time penalty for Bob as well, exceeding track limits. Not best for him. That gap between Danza and Adam, it just keeps growing and growing. Whilst there's the gap between Adam and Jos Heinz shrinking and shrinking. Adam staying within DRS range of Jos Heinz, but we're not going to have DRS, not in this weather. We might see it maybe later on in the race if the rain dries up, as Adam gets very cautious. Nearly loses the back end coming through turn 9 there. He has got a purple sector 2 though, and he has a bit of a lock-up as well, but it's looking closer and closer, this fight. Maybe a bit of ERS. He's got a lot of ERS. Will he be deploying that down out of turn 16 and all the way on the run down towards turn 1? Cameron, what you got your eyes on?
Sorry, yeah, but I'm just sort of in awe of this battle between Gaudio and Danza here. Danza, as you say, not looking the quickest on track today by a long means, but Gaudio here is just sort of gaining and gauging where he can attack, and just Danza just seeming to be a little bit under pressure here, especially on corner exit, not able to get the power down. I don't know whether he's just short shifting or not short shifting at all. We have another yellow flag. That's Bob retiring from the session, first retirement of this race on lap 5. But here we go, here's a move. Gaudio gaining on Danza, the Alfa Romeo on the Mercedes, down into the inside we go. Is he able to get it done? It looks like it, but no, he doesn't. Danza holding on the outside line now to the inside. It's difficult fighting around here. We know what happened here in 2016. Is it going to happen again? Oh, look at that, just easing the car around. It's like he's not even trying. Gaudio just able to get around the outside. Danza on the inside.
Oh,
it's close. They're
tight.
rubbing tyres. They're giving each other sort of a handshake. They may as well be there, but it's still Gaudio now who finds himself P3, the bottom step of that podium, and it's Danza dropping down the field into P4, but Gaudio on the podium in the Alfa Romeo. Fozzy.
How good was that? Amazing control, amazing car control from Gaudio round turn 3 there. He knew where Danza was. He wasn't going to drive into him. He's going to keep a nice distance, and boy, did it pay off for him. I was watching a lot of it on board with Nicolate, who had a brilliant view from behind. But yeah, Danza dropping out of podium positions when it comes to the championship fight. Only this race and the next one next week in Singapore to go. Not the best for him. Science and Adambo still continuing to make their way around, but as we go further back in the grid, well, Zero and Farnham seem to be having a bit of tango with each other as well into sector 3. Getting quite close between the Red Bull and the Racing Point as well, as it looks like Zero just quite kindly got out of the way of TS Bunty there. I don't know whether that was giving him a position back from an incident earlier on, but a Zero back out of the points. Down to P11, TS Bunty, he's going to be eyeing up a move on the Racing Point in front of him now. He's got a lot of energy and he is deploying it, but he's got to be cautious around that corner. Here we go then. Is he going to be able to get a slipstream on Farnham as we go down towards turn 1? Well, I think he might be a little bit too far back to make any move happen this time around, but definitely a battle to keep an eye on. If we go a bit further forward in the grid, well, MJ Coops joined the train behind Nickel H, who's gaining on Danza as well. Look, the gap between Danza and Nickel H, less than 3 tenths now. Danza keeps on falling back. Has he not got the tyre temperatures as mentioned for the wet? Has he been driving his tyres too much? Is he just not happy with the grip levels in that car? Well, I think that's quite obvious from the position that he currently lies in. Oh, as Nickel H gets very, very nearly into a spin and into the wall there, coming out of turn 5. Here we go through the awkward camber corner. Don't get on the curbs too much there, because the curbs in this wet is going to be spinning you around as well. He's dropped back a little bit from Danza now. He was eyeing up a move. You could tell by how close he was getting and the way he was driving his car. But he's got over half energy remaining. Will he be deploying some of that as we go down onto the final straight at the end of this lap? Well, we will continue to ride on board with Nicolate and see what happens there. Further back in the grid, though, I believe Keiran is getting rather close to Zero as well, and it looks to be a move going on there as well, Zero ghosted, which made that move a little bit easier than they would have wanted. Your side, set the fastest lap, a 1:28.2. Cameron?
Yeah, Jos Heinz showing how it's done. Won last race, I believe he qualified on pole as well in China, and he won that one quite a dominant display. And we're starting to see this again. We saw him now, well, we see him now on the timetable. He was close with Adam, but Adam seems to have dropped off. And Jos Heinz just seems to have run with it. He's now 1.7, 1.8 clear. And further back, we're seeing that Adam and Gaudio I mean, they're a while away from each other now, but you might start to see Gaudio having a little bit more pace and trying to gain onto the second step of the podium. Danza, meanwhile, as we said, he having a bit of a race to forget so far. I mean, it's decent points, but when your two closest competitors for the championship are 1 and 2, nothing ever feels that good, especially if you're not leading the race. And we just see him just struggling here. I wonder if he's got a dry setup and got caught out by the wet weather. He just seems to be, wow, ironically, a duck out of water here. You know, Nico P5 starting to gain on Danza again. Zero having some few issues, finds himself down to P13. But is this going to be the move here between Nico and Danza? Danza still leading ahead into the braking zone of turn 10. Will he keep it as we head on to the next lap as we get through these couple corners? Easy to drop the car here as well, I find. They're just the power and the wheel slip. Danza's just looking all sorts of uncomfortable here. And Nico, P5 at the moment. I think he's going for P4. That isn't going to help though, going wide. And it's just like sailing again, isn't it, with the understeer you're experiencing. Ride the curb, give it a spin almost, and off you go again, sort of thing. But Danza now P4. I don't think I have to defend too hard from Nico. Nico is burning all the energy he has and the rest of it as well. So is Danza. So maybe not into the braking zone of turn 1 here, but I reckon we might see these two battling out for a little more longer yet as they go further back down the grid. TS Bunty, consistent point scorer, only failed to score points on a couple of occasions this season, and he's at it again. P10 at the moment, and will he be able to get P9? Farnham, the racing point. And you start to see that the cars have sort of got into their own mini packs, and that it kind of makes it a bit difficult. This is where sort of those people at the back, such as P10 and below, will be wanting a safety car. Unfortunately, we haven't had one yet for them. But to me, I'm struggling to see any rain, actually. So I reckon we might be seeing a change of conditions shortly. And the change of conditions could just be what our championship leader needs at this very moment, Fozzy.
Yeah, strategy's all going to be to play for, especially for Andriy, who's just got himself a 3-second time penalty. That's going to, well, at the moment, it's not going to be too much of a worry, as he's 10 seconds clear of Gaudio, but depending on how strategy plays out, and if we see the dry compounds coming into play, that might be quite significant. I think Danza might be quite happy to get off his intermediates. He seems to have been struggling for the first, well, for all of this race ever since the lights went out. So if we can get dry conditions, which I reckon we might in about, what'd you say, 2 laps time looking at this. There's no rain on the cars and the track does seem to be establishing quite a dry line. We might see, yeah, them dry conditions make an appearance and dry compounds make an appearance in a few laps' time. Nicolates, though, he's deploying energy. This could be a move on Danza. Is Danza going to go down another position? Well, he's trying to defend a little bit into turn 1. Looks like Nicolates just a little bit too far back to make a move come to fruition there. But he's not done with Danza yet. No, sir. He is 3 tenths away. Getting a slightly better drive through turn 3 there on the Mercedes. Although there aren't many overtaking opportunities in the next section of the track. If we do start seeing DRS come soon, though...
There we go.
Wow, talk of it. We'll say that was planned, but it wasn't. That puts Nicolates in a phenomenal position as we head into Sector 2 now, because he's going to be within DRS range on Danza, having about 75% energy as well. We could see Nicolates come up into P4 and be 1 step closer to joining his teammate on the podium. Let's see, though, as they go through turn 7 and 8. As Nicolates follows round, and what is he? He's half a second behind. Is he going to be deploying that energy? You know he is. There's the beat for DRS as well. Is he going to be able to make a move onto Danza? Well, I think he's just a little bit too far back to make anything happen this time. But with DRS enabled, that proves it's getting a lot drier. Are we going to be seeing people coming into the pits? Well, keep your eyes on the timing seats as the Jos Heinze, the man in the Haas, and the man in P2, Adam, both go into the pits. It's slick time. Let's see what the strategy is going to be.
Yeah, and someone will be looking for a slick performance, and these drivers will be looking for it indeed. This is actually kind of the worst period of time, is when the inters are actually just overcooking. There's no grip at all. Jos Heinze onto the hard tyre here. He's being held for quite a long time. Oh, there we go. He's popped out there. I don't know what's gone on there, but on my screen, Adam is still behind Jos Heinze. There we go. Data Legend staying out for another lap. I think that's going to be very detrimental to his race. If everyone's going on to slicks, they're going to be so much quicker than anyone on inters. It's hards all around. So not taking the softest compound, but the compound that should be durable enough to get us to the end. Wow. Nico late on pit exit all over the place. And he's actually inside the hassle of MJQ. And MJQ locks up, gives him the position back via some means or another. But just on the pit exit, just finding that the track is drying, and it is getting to bone dry. But still a few issues, still a few bits of wet, and it's catching the drivers off guard, especially those who are the likes of Adam and Jos Heinze. With Adam with that penalty now, Jason Lezic is just over a second behind, and you do just wonder, Jason Lezic here on the inters, how he's going to fare when it comes to the pit stop, which I'm sure he's going to have to make this lap, or else he's going to be sacrificing his race completely. We've seen Ferrari strategy time and time again be problematic, and I think today's another day. You just see him wrestling the car through. It's a bit like driving an old pirate ship, having to like rotate the wheel through and through and through. It's like Sea of Thieves rather than F1 2020. But Jason Lezic still on the inters, and surely he's going to box this time, but the hard tyres are proving favourable for our contenders this evening. TS Bunty still P10 on the soft compound, in fact, here, starting to gain on the racing point of Farnham. Farnham, there we go, just assisting a little bit on the whitewalled harder tyre. So for the time being, Bunty should have the pace delta on tyre compounds alone, but will he have it via raw horsepower and driving ability? Well, I think with a bit of DRS assistance, it shouldn't be too hard to answer that question here. As you see, just lining up, getting ready. Exit's very important. Farnham just being a little bit squiddy, not too bad. But here we go. Here's the run from TS Bunty. 2:10 that it is now. There's the DRS, and there goes the back wing. It's pit window's open, but it doesn't matter though, because TS Bunty going to the inside. Oh, just miles ahead really of Farnham there into the braking zone. Farnham trying to hold it round to the outside that becomes the inside, but no response to the question posed by TS Bunty. P9 now. Will we start to see a further charge for him? Well, he's 4.2 seconds away from his teammate Jason Lezic, who is also on the hard tyres, but TS Bunty setting the timing screens alight with the purple sector 1 as well, Fozzy.
Yep, I mean, as we see Farnham and Dino going side by side through turn 5. Don't know where Dino came from. Very quick drive from him. They're not done yet, though. They're not done at all. He's going to move in DRS range, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, strange to see TS Bunty going on to the soft compound there as well. Be interesting to see if they last the next 22 laps all the way to the end. As we see Adam set the fastest lap there as well with a 1:26. Cameron?
Yep, 1:26 seems the pace for now. And you do just wonder, is the people who are going on that softer compound vouching for a safety car where you'd hope they are, or has something's gone terribly wrong in the decision making there as Nico and then set the fast. That is just going to be going on now as we got Brownie on the mediums. Yeah, that's true actually. Mediums could be a decent race tyre now. What have we got? We've got 21 laps to go roughly. So yeah, I'd say the mediums is a safe bet. But if you want a really safe bet, then a hard tyre is it. You can lean on it, put it through its paces, but this lead here for Jos Heinze is diminishing, and it's diminishing very quickly actually. 2:10 between the leader of the race and P2. Adam, he has DRS. It's a short DRS straight. Is he going to get it way up into the brakes a little bit later than he would have hoped? Lock up, but nothing major. Still able to keep that gap, and he also has a 3-second time penalty now. So Adam and Jos Heinze, I believe, equal on penalties. So this will make the racing even closer between the two. Around the final chicane, don't want to get too greedy here. He just takes a slow entry. Jos Heinze clips the sort of the yellow curb there, finds himself slightly off where he wants to be. Here comes DRS. Surely this is it now. Adam will be able to lead into turn 1. We're about to find out. Both cars dumping their energy. Jos Heinze takes to the inside. Very definitive move there, stating his intentions clearly. And it's Adam into the braking zone, and he is ahead of the Haas driver by a full car length and finds himself leading this race on lap 13. Where's Jos Heinze going there? Wow, went ever so wide around turn 3. 4G is what you can experience at the maximum there. And Jos Heinze almost off into the gravel. I thought he was going to lose it. Had me right on the edge of my seat. But Adam leading the way now. Will they be able to keep it? It's going to be a tough one. We've seen Adam does have the pace. He's won a few races, and he was the championship leader at one point. Maybe this is him putting a stake in once again on the dying ends of the championship to say, look, I'm still here. Don't count me out, lads. And let's go racing, shall we? And show you who's boss. Fozzy.
Yep, Danza starting to gain on Gaudio. I'm pretty sure Danza would quite like to be on the podium. He's had 3 podiums in a row, like I say, and for his championship fight, That's definitely the position he wants to be. He wants to be towards the top step of the podium, not off the podium altogether. He has got DRS on the Alfa Romeo, but he's way too far back to make a move happen here. Maybe he will be able to if he can make a nail Sector 3. But yeah, that's definitely one to watch as well. Let's see what things are going back further down in the grid. Well, everyone seems to be spread out quite nicely. Zero's not too far back away from Marmite, but everyone else, yeah, definitely spread out quite fairly. The closest battle is about 1-4 P3 at the moment. Nicolates isn't late for the party either. He's going to be eyeing up a move as well if he can make them hard times work and get as far forward as he can. But let's have a look at Danza. How far back is he? Well, he's almost 8 tenths back, so I don't think we're going to be seeing a move into turn 1 just here. Next over Adam, I would say he's fairly comfortable up ahead, but we know what Josh Heinze can do, and we know he's a fast driver. So now they're equal on penalties. All moves here are going to be for track position. Maybe Adam could have been a little bit more laissez-faire on laps gone by, but not now he's got the penalty. No. And has Josh Heinze got the DRS? He doesn't either. He's 1.3 seconds behind Adam. So he's going to be having to use his overtake and his driver skill to get up onto the top step of the podium. But at the moment, it's not looking too good because he's quite far back and out of that DRS range, like I say, Cameron.
Yeah, and someone who is in DRS range is Danza and Gaudio. These two have been closing into each other. Danza just gaining a heap of time on the brakes there. I think he wasn't even expecting to gain that much. Just catching up to Gaudio, riding the curbs, putting your suspension through the paces, making your engineers back in the garage, you know, be a little bit more tense. Maximise the track limits, as all drivers do. Push the limits to as far as they until they bite back. Ride the curbs. Sacrifice a little speed on exit. That's not particularly what he wanted, but here we go then. 5 temps. DRS is open. And will he be able to gain on Gaudio? Is Gaudio going defensive? Of course he is. He knows how to defend. I think, though, Danza has the overlap and the overspeed on him, and into the brakes. It's still Gaudio. There's a little bit of contact there, right front with left rear of the Alfa Romeo, and it's still Gaudio who leads. Is there a move coming up into turn 4, the Repsol corner? Well, we're just going to have to see. You can make one work if you're cheeky enough, but Hamilton will show you that things can go very wrong there. Gaudio just getting a little bit squiggly, a little bit. Oh, I managed to defend that one. That was pretty good. And now it's still the battle rages on here between Danza and Gaudio. Danza, in order to win the championship tonight, needs to not only be on the top set, but also needs the fastest lap. And at the moment, none of those things seem to be happening, let alone Josh Heinze being out of the points and Adam scoring 2 points or less. So, yeah, seemingly impossible. But that's good for us, because that means it goes on till the final race over in Singapore. But still 5 tenths between Gaudio and Danza. Danza thought the move was on. Gaudio shut the door, and Gaudio with some expert defending there really showed you how to defend around Spain. It's not an easy track to overtake, but by no means is it an easy track to defend either, especially on the DRS zones, as Gaudio just catches himself off a little bit. The Alfa Romeo driver, I believe he is Italian in the Italian team. Again, the X is ever so crucial. Once again, deja vu. And we have DRS 4 temps now, a little bit closer. Will that help? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Gaudio very low on energy here. Not going to be able to defend this one. Goes to the inside, and I think into the braking zone. Let's just see. Yeah, miles ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver. The Alfa Romeo is not going to fight that one too hard. If you fight too hard, you might end up A, in a barrier, or A, being further down the pack by losing time to the leaders. But losing time to the leaders is what's happened to Danza. 18 seconds away, or 19 seconds away from Adam. A seemingly hard task to try and overcome and try and complete today, and that isn't going to help. Gaudio now is backed up into Nicolates. This is a 3-way fight for P3, the bottom step of the podium. Very nice points indeed. Nico, we've seen he's really helped the AlphaTauri team dominate this season of IRL PC F2. And getting another podium might just help as well. Double AlphaTauri podium. There's worse things happen in life. As Gaudio just gaining again on Danza. It's now Danza in the defending position as we head on to lap 17 shortly, rather than Gaudio. Both on hard tyres, 5 laps old. Everything seems pretty equal between them. But who's going to come out on top? Will this just be jostling for position, yo-yoing back and forth, or will this be a definitive time for Danza to make his mark and make his step towards the upper echelons of the podium? It looks like there's a decent gap here. Gaudio is low on energy, not even deploying any. Meanwhile, Danza is also low on energy. It's a DRS train into the braking zone as we go, and it's still going to be Danza ahead. But Nicolates just close on Gaudio quite significantly as Keiran overtakes Zero further back. But at the moment, there's a lovely little battle heating up here between Gaudio, Danza and Nico, all fighting for P3.
Yep, bottom of the points. Dino's just got past TS Bunty with the help of DRS as well. There's a fight which I'd been following as you were following that fight close to the front of the field. Yeah, very good move from Dino as well. Been gaining and gaining on TS Bunty over that past lap and managed to make it work with, like I said, a little bit of help of DRS down in towards turn 1. Question is now, will TS Bunty on the softs be able to get past Dino once again on the hards? So he's locked up a little bit, so that might ruin them tyres just a tad. But how's it looking at the front again? Well, like you say, don't rule Nicolaites out of this fight for P3 as well. He's right up there in the gearbox of Gaudio as well, as Adam sets fastest lap. A 1:18.4 is where the bar's being raised to at the moment. Obviously, the Dancer's tyres are 1 lap younger than those in front of him as well. But yeah, Nicolaites. Oh, he goes wide. Nicolaites goes wide and spins. Nicolaites in P5 goes round at the pit exit. He needs to get it into reverse as quickly as he can, but not easy to get into reverse for easy. He loses a position to MJ Coop and loses another one to Brownie as well. But he was fighting and fighting all the way through Sector 3, but he hit the curb and span around and ended up in the gravel. It was not the best, not what he would have wanted at all. He's so far back now compared to where he was. That's going to really upset the AlphaTauri driver.
Dejan Lazic is capitalising on that, sorry, just into the brakes, caught it just slightly there, able to just keep behind, while Nicolaites keeping in front of the Ferrari driver. That's a Fozzy cheering on the other Italian team. And yeah, Nico, we said don't count him out. Well, Fozzy, I believe you are responsible for the curse on that one, so I'll let you have the conversation with him rather than myself, just because I think you're a bit more to blame for that one. But yeah, dropping it is ever so, well, it's just frowned upon, isn't it, really? It's not great for anyone, really, especially if you start to impede the others who are coming in. But Dancer now, again, starting to look a little bit compromised here. Gaudio just seeming to have a little bit more pace. Oh, wow, sorry about that. The Alfa Romeo trying to do his best impression of a pirouette there, but able to just keep it going. Dancer still leading P3, and he just hasn't really gained on the front runners. In fact, he's lost time, if anything. And now Gaudio is hoping to gain time and gain a position. This battling back and forth is just costing them both, as we see Gaudio going quite a bit faster that lap, I believe. And here we go then into turn 1. The interesting right-hander and into the left, just a little bit too far back. That's one of your overtaking opportunities gone. There's only a couple left for each lap. It's very difficult here. It's very much almost like an endurance race rather than a F1 Grand Prix at times, with who can just keep out the wall the most and just keep consistent lap times in. But TS Bunty chose to go on the more aggressive strategy on the soft tyres. Those tyres are 8 laps old, which is where we'd see them starting to feel a bit more second hand, and he hasn't been able to really gain the gain out of those tyres, where he's got people on hard and mediums being able to get past him and surpass him in speed and in lap time. So a bit of a wrong decision, I believe, there for Ferrari with TS Bunty, and obviously that will cost him, especially when he needs to box again. And Danza just giving a little bit of room there to Gaudio unintentionally. But no need to have a bit of a fight between them yet. They haven't collided in or anything like that. But Gaudio just gaining and gaining on Danza. Danza is very much used to winning and is very much used to being on the podium. And he's on the bottom step now, but you can only think that he just wants some decent points, especially when looking at the championship. This brings back all kinds of people into the lead again. Gaudio gaining, Danza defending here. Moving to the right, then back to the left. Farnham getting a 3-second time penalty. Gaudio just trying to curve the car through the corners. Going slightly wide. Dirty Air, that isn't your friend, that's for sure. Just ask Chamber on that one. But 4 temps, 3 temps, all coming down on the brakes, taking a slightly tighter line there as compared to the Mercedes driver. Just Dan's not looking really particularly on form here. Bunty now into the pits, as I said. He's going to have to stop again. Those soft tyres weren't looking great, and onto the medium tyres he goes. That should be certainly enough to get him to the end, but might be out of the points. He's hoping for a safety car, I can only imagine there, as we see Danza just leading this miniature pack between him and Gaudio. MJQ 5 seconds behind those, and MJQ on the hard tyres. Now for the Haas team there with the Ferrari power units helping them out in the back, as Jos Heinze is P2, but leading the race so far after that brilliant move on Jos Heinze is the AlphaTauri man, Adam, the Hungarian driver. He's he's also used to wins, 3 wins and a couple P2 positions, and looks like we might be adding to that list of wins with just over, I believe, 12 laps to go. So yeah, the race is not over yet, but the podium positions are starting to sort themselves out a little bit. Gaudio, again, I think it's just going to be a back and forth thing. Going to try and gain, then lose in certain areas, and that is the difficulties with Spain, and why some people pronounce Spain with a silent S. But Brownie, the lead Red Bull P6, decent for him on the medium tyres. Those mediums might start feel a bit off, but hey, what's going on here? Dejan Lezic, turn 1 into turn 2 and 3. Was that possibly contact there maybe with the McLaren driver? Not too sure. Just caught the tail end of that as he caught the tail end of his car and spun around. He's now back on the road again. No safety car or anything else as Zero goes into the pits, box onto another set of soft tyres. TS20 obviously on the mediums, but Dejan Lezic just having a few explorations of the track there. That won't help his tyre temps, and it won't help his track position either. Marmite, though, the reserve driver, filling in for Racing Point this week, bit of a Hulkenberg-esque style. He is showing that he has the pace P10 for him, so another decent race so far. But Fozzy, looking at it now, Adam seems to have a decent lead. Do you think there's room for Jos Heinze to come back and challenge him towards the dying end of this race, or do you think Adam might just starting to be pulling the trophy out of the bag here?
I will answer that in a minute. Gaudio is getting ever so close to making a move on Danza. He's very low on energy though, which I think is the one thing that's stopping him being able to make that lunge down into turn 1. But yeah, Jos Heinze, he's 2.4 seconds behind, and it sort of stayed around that gap. Danza takes a bit of grass there. It stayed around that gap for the past few laps, and we know what Jos Heinze is like. We've seen him in previous races be able to pull gaps like this, bring him down, and then be able to make the overtake. So I reckon, yeah, he's probably still within contention of taking the win here. But, yeah, I think it'll all come down to who can manage their tyres the most. They're on the hard compounds, so they shouldn't drop off too much, but I think tyres are definitely going to play a big role in deciding the overall outcome of this, and also decide the overall outcome as to whether Danza can keep Gaudio behind. Gaudio is going to be trying to regenerate energy throughout the lap and deploying it all the way down towards turn 1, lap after lap. Is he going to be able to make a move happen this time around? Well, he's been a bit squiggly over this lap. He's dropped back from Danza and then he's gained to Danza. He hits a curb there and drops back again once more. So he's deploying his energy, but he's turned it off now. He's got the DRS, but I think he knows he's too far back to make anything work this lap around. Looks like Keiran and Marmite are looking pretty close on the timing towers as well as they go down towards turn 10. With the Alfa Romeo unable to make a move on the Racing Point this time round. Farnham and Marmite, P10 and 11. I've seen them battling a few laps ago as well. They were getting quite close and swapping positions here and there as MJ Cube gets another time penalty.
Ooh.
That's not going to be the best for him. Cameron, what you got your eyes on?
Yeah, you went about the Keiran and Marmite battle. Keiran overcooking as Marmite heads into the pits. Getting a right sideways momentum off there. A bit of a unwanted characteristic of the driving around here in Spain, around the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. But it's Keiran in P11, just outside the points. Farnham P10. He's 2 seconds away. As
Brownie's round. Brownie
also,
has spun.
Yes, Brownie spun there. Into turn 2. And into 3. I've dropped it there many times, but there's no excuse for him, really. As I said, Keiran looking to get in the points, and, well, he's in the points now. So thank me later, Keiran. Thank you me indeed. And Gaudio, though, will be thanking me if he can get this move on Danza. And I must say, they're almost a pit stop behind the race leader here. Where are they at? They're 19, about 23 seconds. So not masses away from Adam being a pit stop clear, which isn't great if you're in Danza or Gaudio's position. I think they realise that this is the best they're getting here, P4 or P3, and it's up to them to decide and work out their little dispute they'll be having on track, and who's going to come out on top on the bottom step of the podium. But the podium is still a podium, and much needed points, especially in a race at a championship season like we have here, where anyone in the top 3 has a real decent shot at winning it, and at the moment Adam is looking very much favourable for that. Gaudio catching up, difficult corner again. Watch track limits there, Gaudio. I don't think the stewards will be too happy with that one, but no penalty. Hold it around. That corner is quite mental to take when you are in the car. Very much on the limits there, as he's also on the limits of adhesion and braking, and Danza finding himself again under pressure. Honestly, though, although Danza he had that terrible wet stint, he's not been too bad. I think he can be fairly happy with his performance in the dry. It's just that wet stint really harmed him and really curtailed his progression this evening. Just ramps setting a fast lap 118.2. And he is P15, I believe he's on, fresh softs, so that will help. Low fuel, fresh softs, and not many laps to go now, actually. Gaudio gaining, who's going to go for it? Ooh, okay, having a little bit of a look to the inside, possibly. Eyeing up a possible move, just seeing if Dan's is going to do a late defence or not, because that really will scupper your plans. Just test him, see if you act a little bit as if you're going aggressive, just see what Danza does, and see if you can pull the trigger the next couple of laps and set that attack in motion. But Danza leading as we head through Sector 2 ahead of Gaudio. Adam, though, leading the race overall, 2.5 seconds. Josh Heinze not looking like he's able to really gain any substantial time on Adam here. Both on old laps, old hards now, 14 laps old after the wet spate we had. Bit of rain always follows us around, and oh, there we go into the break. Every time we head into turn 10, into turn 11, wow, it's mental how close you get under braking here, and the closing speeds are quite phenomenal. But Danza leading Gaudio once again. Oh, Gaudio just getting, again, another sideways moment. You hug these curves. Danza wide! Danza wide! Danza drops down to P4. That's a podium position for Gaudio. Got wide on the exit. Lost grip, but gained gravel on his tyres. He was so close to spinning there. And that is what happens when you put the pressure on. And Danza cracked under pressure there. And Gaudio, finally, for him, is through to P3. He's fought for that position the entirety of this race, back and forth with Danza, and now it is Gaudio, the Italian, ahead of Danza, the Czech driver, and that is not good for our championship leader today. He's had a bit of a upsy-downsy drive, and that just does not put the cherry on top of that cake at all. And now Gaudio bobs at the podium. Will he go to defend? Well, he's out of a second DRS now under it between Danza, so Danza can just hope that he can regain some energy, regain his composure, and make a move as we have a yellow flag. Sector 3, I believe that is Marmite there. DNF, the rookie reserve, finding himself running out of talent slightly there. We're just going to ride on board with Gaudio. We should see him here. I believe he's on the right hand, although he's moving again. Now he's left the session, so I believe it might have been a spin, and now he's been to that one indeed. But Danza on Gaudio, yellow flag, no overtaking here, but there will be an overtaking opportunity on to the main pit straight here. This is ever so important. Lap 27.33. Danza will be wanting this position back, but he does not have enough energy. They're both quite low, and it's just having to rely on the horsepower and DRS alone. Is he going to go for a dive? No, plays it sensible. P4 is still better than being out of the points completely, especially in the penultimate round. Gaudio now is the one who's having to defend. Can Danza apply the pressure and apply any sense of aggression towards Gaudio and try and gain that position, while Gaudio just slipping slightly on the curb? The hard tyres looking very second hand now. Gaudio just winding around the circuit as Danza tries to gain onto the back of him. He'll be within DRS range as it is at the moment as we go through to the off-cambered corner. Oh, Gaudio in a bit of trouble there, able to just keep it going though. You can tell they're right on the limit of these tyres being second hand. Wow, Danza having to lift. Gaudio also having to lift now. TC Alfano up into 9th, Keiran down to 10th. They're battling out as well, but this is about going on here. 5 tenths separates Danza and the bottom step of the podium. And Fozzy.
Yeah, look at this with Farnham and Keiran going side by side through Sector 1. That was tight. Keiran managed to make the move through turns 1 and 2, but Farnham wasn't done. He was coming back with much better of an exit out of turn 2. Had a much higher speed. And here we go now through this awkward turn 7 and 8 complex. I don't think Farnham's done yet. He wants to take that position back. He's on the brink of dropping out of the points. Brownie is a few seconds behind, so that does give Farnham a little bit of safety. But don't forget, the Racing Point has got a penalty. We want to try and get ahead and make a quite a gap in front of him and Keiran as well. How's looking up at the front? Well, Gaudio's still trying to catch up to Danza, who has got back in front. I might have missed that. But Danza, yeah, back up into the podium positions, Cameron.
Yeah, Danza, I believe it's a movement to turn 1. Again, the DRS, I saw it was 2 attempts. There's plenty enough to get the job done, but we were fascinated by the battle further down the field. No matter where you are, you fight for it like it's fighting for the win, and that is what makes league racing so much fun here, especially on the F1 game. And it's not particularly fun for Danza though at the moment, who is having to once again defend from Gaudio, who finds himself again in P4 just off the podium. And it's these two are the sort of the battle of the day, really. It's been going on for quite a long time, longer than any driver would have wanted it to go on for, and it has just compromised their race to really P3 being the limit today. They say the sky's the limit. Well, the bottom 7 of the podium is for these two drivers, but it's still a podium nonetheless, and still something to fight for. 0 heads into the pits. The Rebel driver hasn't been a fantastic day for either Rebels, both out of the point. TSRing Farnham, and there's been a yellow flag. Is that Keiran? Yes, it is Keiran there. Turn 8, turn 9, into turn 9, just finding himself at the will of the wisp of the off-cambered chicane there, jumping it down late into this race. That's going to be difficult for him to recover from, as we see now 2 tenths between Gaudio and Danza once again, but out front is Adam leading. Gaudio taking a very tight line there, as opposed to Danza, who takes the normal proposed racing line, as they both head into racing into this chicane where not that long ago Keiran, the other Alfa Romeo, went off. Will this one stay on track? It does indeed. And Danza now is once again on the DRS straight. Very short, hard to make a move anyway. We'll see if that improves with this new calendar, new season. F1, and almost on the brakes, right into the rear wing of Danza, winging it in there, but is able to keep both cars going and not give Danza an extra speed boost that wasn't particularly wanted. As we go through the tricky chicane, Gaudio falling foul with it again, and it's just this chicane. It does make things a bit awkward, to say the least. Not particularly the best flowing of track designs, and he finds himself now 7 tenths away from Danza as we're on lap 30. 3 laps to go. The leader is Adam. Your P2 runner-up is Josh Heinze. At the moment, Danza is P3, but all could change to that bottom podium step. Fozzy.
Yep, Gaudio is fighting and fighting. He knows that that podium step is within distance. He's within DRS range. He's trying to save energy. It's not too easy to regain your energy on this track. There's not masses and masses of heavy braking zones. You've got a little bit through sector 3, but the main one down into turn 1. But if you can't regain energy there, then you're going to be struggling throughout the rest of the laps. That's what Gaudio is trying to do. He's trying to regain the energy so he can make a nice, clean, non-risky pass on Danza up into that final podium position. But he's playing it safe because he knows there's only 3 laps to go, and any spin now means he ain't going to be able to recover it. But at the same time, he knows if he doesn't make his move soon, he might have to start taking some risks, because the laps are counting down as the leader Adam goes on to lap 31, as does Josh Heinze as well. His tyres now 20 laps old. We might be starting to see him start to drop off a little bit now, but all the drivers seem to be keeping the cars going in the same direction. Here comes Gaudio then through sector 3. He's got about 20% battery left. Danza in front has got, well, quite a lot more, almost 60% battery left. So Danza might be able to outdo this. Are we going to be seeing Gaudio deploy? Well, we see him have a little bit of deployment out of turn 16. He's within DRS range and has DRS open. The gap is closing. It's about half a second now as we go down towards turn 1. Heavy on the brakes at the 50-meter board. But Gaudio not able to make a move on Danza there. The Mercedes lives to fight another lap unless Gaudio can make a move down towards turn 10. But at the moment, Danza looks like he's controlling that podium spot, somewhere which he's very used to. Obviously, he's had 3 podiums in a row. Oh, Gaudio gets a little bit squiggly there coming out of that corner. Only 2 races where Danza... 2 races for Danza. He started away, hasn't been on the podium, so he is very familiar with the podium. He might be a little bit scared of being out of the podium positions just a few laps ago, but he's happy to be back there now. We see Gaudio dropping back row just a little bit. Dino catching up to the other AlphaTauri of Nicolates. He's not got too much energy in him himself, but Nicolates we see go a little bit wide onto the grass. He did it just then. Will Dino be able to make a move with the help of DRS down towards turn 10? Well, it's not a very long DRS straight, so my guess is probably going to be no, and Dino is 4.6 tenths back. And yeah, he is too far to make anything work just there. Cameron, what have you got your eyes on at the moment?
I'm watching this battle between Dino, and I was just sort of intrigued as to who was going to come out on top here. And yeah, you find it when you're off the podium, and if you're used to it, especially on the start, you do feel a bit sort of in the wrong place. You feel a bit out of where you should be, and it does make things a little bit more difficult for the driver, especially in the mental element, and for what's been so far a mental race. And yeah, Gaudio just still in P4, hanging in up to position where he started, P6. So overall a good run, but interestingly, the leaders, P1, 2 and 3, are all in the same place where they started. So yeah, no real movement for them, just moving up and down, back and forth, side to side like a roller coaster. But Danzo, what a roller coaster this championship has been for all the drivers involved, especially the top 3. At one point, Jos Heinze was looking completely out of it, and now he's directly in contention. Adam was leading for quite a long time, and now he was out of contention, and now he's the prime spot for winning the PC F2 title. So yeah, a roller coaster is a very fitting description of this season of PC F2 here in Invictus Racing League, and we hope you've enjoyed, especially the second half being broadcast on all of the social media channels. Adam begins the final lap here, 33 of 33. That's many miles around Catalonia, and many miles for these drivers to prove if they have what it takes to put up a championship fight. Gaudio gaining 3 attempts, less than 3 attempts now into break zone, going to be too far back. That's one of your opportunities gone. Dan, he's also trying to make another opportunity there. That was ever so tight, ever so close on the brakes, right there on the limit of what those brakes had to give. Yes, the brakes F1 cars are spectacular, but you do reach a limit at some point. Just getting a little bit shifty off the curb. A little bit of wheel spin isn't going to help you at all, and Danza now looking to be holding on to P3 quite nicely until he decided that he'd generate some steam for us, as if it wasn't dramatic enough. The feisty Italian versus the Mercedes driver. Will the Italian be able to be on top of the German team, the Mercedes driver of Danza, who is currently leading him in P3? We see traffic up ahead, but it's Adam who wins lap 33. 33 laps completed. He started on pole, and he is back in championship fighting form for the last couple rounds here at Invictus Racing League PC F2. And it's Jos Heinze who finishes second. Danza looks like he might just take P3. It's not over yet. It's not over till you drive past the checkered flag, but it will be over now for Gaudio to any hope of claiming the bottom step of the podium. The top 3 finished as they started, but Gaudio gaining a couple positions. Fozzy, that was a race, wasn't it?
It was, yes, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to some of the drivers in just a few minutes. You've got something?
Yes, and last lap move between Dino and Nikolates. Nikolates goes wide on the exit of the chicane, helped by Dino, just giving a little bit of a nudge, and Dino powers through to take P6. My oh my, that was phenomenal. Possibly steward's room, but phenomenal for the broadcast, Fozzy.
Nikolates has a front left puncher as well. I think made that last corner a little bit more difficult for him than he would have wanted, maybe caused by that contact that you just mentioned there. But yeah, what a race that was. Even though it was Spain, we still saw some phenomenal moves and phenomenal drives. Again, we saw a very commanding drive from Adam there as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get to speak to some of them in just a few moments' time. But yeah, that was a good race. I really, really enjoyed that. And like we say, it wouldn't be a piece.
Oh.
It goes to Brownie JV. You can, of course, follow Invictus Racing League on social media and vote for your driver of the day later in the week. But yeah, wasn't that just great, Keiran?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, if you can make Spain interesting, you're doing something good, and that's what Invictus Racing League is phenomenal at, bringing the action to your screens with some of the fastest drivers I know. And wow, yeah, flat out racing. The fight for the front, I mean, between Adam and Jos Heinze was very close, especially at the front, but Adam able to overcome his poor start and also takes the fastest lap. So Dancer required to win the race, take the fastest lap. Jos Heinze to be out the points, and Adam scored less than 2 points. While literally the worst kind of thing happened there, by not scoring points yourself. Adam wins, takes the fastest lap. Jos Heinze scores points in P2, and yeah, that is your Spanish Grand Prix for Invictus Racing League. And I believe Fozzy will be heading down to speak to the drivers, as we will prepare to join them as well. And yeah, so we will have the interviews with the top drivers, the top podium, and we will be there very shortly. So indeed, so Danza starting P3, finishing P3, Jos Heinze finishing P2, and Adam finishing in the front, taking the top prize in Spain.
He is going to be here. Here he is. Hello again.
Hello.
Just been speaking to Danza, which you say, Danza, you were struggling quite a lot in the wet during that race. Do you want to talk us through what was going through your mind in the first half of that race?
Well, as as the lights, went out, I had quite a good start. I was going wheel to wheel with Adam there. Went, a bit out of the track. I think we maybe touched a bit, nothing too big. And I just tucked in behind, hoped that I could, be behind those two until there's a DRS or something. But I just didn't feel grip anywhere, like literally anywhere. So I dropped in those 12, 13 laps, around 20 seconds to them, and I was just holding a train behind me. Gaudio, MJ Cube, Nicolas, they all were faster than me at that point. Well, Gaudio got past me into turn 1, I believe, and then after the switch to slicks, I was around the pace of Joss in P2. Like maybe he was a bit faster or something, but they both had the 3-second time penalties. So if there was a safety car, which I was hoping for, I would have probably won that.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see a safety car, of course, with the rain that we saw as well. Jos, fantastic drive from you. P2 on the podium, really good. How do you think that race went for you?
Well, when it started to rain, I was obviously a bit quicker than Adam. But the rain didn't last for long, so I know that I didn't have the pace Adam had in the dry, so it was just a surviving game, if you want to say it like that.
And yeah, definitely a surviving game indeed. How do you think you feel going into Singapore next week, though? Do you feel you're in a comfortable position?
No. Yeah, it was better if I just led the championship by the last race and finished in front of all the guys, but now I have to fight for it.
It's a bit
Even harder to fight for it. Go on, Cameron, sorry, you were going to say
yes,
something.
right. The fight between you top three throughout the championship has been phenomenal. Adam, you were leading a while back, having a good couple races. Had a bit of, I'd say you weren't around for a couple rounds, I don't believe, and then a few performance issues. But you're back on top, as shown by the results today. Is this now your last sort of effort to really claim that championship title, and how much effort are you putting into practicing for Singapore in order to give us a show?
Well, I've practiced a lot for this event, more than the ones previously, and I think it paid off, definitely. At the start, it was raining, of course. I was surprised, and I knew that Josh is quicker than me in the rain, and I realized that it was down to traction. At the last corner, he pulled away by a lot, and even at the start, he overtook me. So I was just waiting for the track to dry up. Fortunately, it happened. Then I passed him, but I still had to go pretty quick to secure this victory. And going to Singapore, it's an unpopular opinion, but I actually like that track, and I'm also good at it. So I'm pretty confident going into next week there.
That's good to be confident. We'll see if it helps, and it has been so close between all you three. Danza, we talk about championship leading. You won 2 races in a row, I believe. You needed pretty much everything to go your way this evening. You needed to win, take fastest lap. You needed Jos to not score points and Adam to score less than 2. It's safe to say that hasn't happened. Are you now going on into Singapore on the back foot? Do you think you'll be able to really fight for the championship, with Singapore being the track it is? Or are you starting to think that maybe it's starting to crumble in front of you?
No, at this point, I don't think the championship is gonna be mine. Like, I know there is still the possibility, the gaps are not big. If I win, then I'm not sure how it is with points, but probably with a win, that's a championship win for me. But for one, I don't really like Singapore. For a second, we've seen the pace of these two in China, where almost 40 seconds gap to me. Now again around 20 seconds. I had to battle with Gaudio a lot. Yeah, and also Singapore is a track where it can rain a lot, and we've seen that with you two as commentators. We'll probably see some rain.
Look,
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm not holding any blame for that. The rain isn't on us, okay? We swear. It's not on us. I do apologise. But yeah, Singapore, we're used to seeing rain there in real life, and, I'm not the weatherman, but I may as well be. I think we're probably going to end up with rain into Singapore. What sort of tracks have been your favourite over this season? We've had a mixture of tracks, some not so many fan favourites, such as France or Spain. But which ones do you prefer individually? We'll start with Adam first. What's your favourite track this season?
I love Japan. And I also had a pretty good race there. I know I was second, but I dropped back after a poor safety car strategy. But I had amazing overtakes. I love doing them, and yeah, even Japan itself is a beautiful track. I love it. I'm trying to remember of other great tracks, but I can't really think of, to be fair.
That's the issue in modern Formula 1, eh?
Actually, I liked Spain as well. It's not the best for racing, but I'm good here. I'm really good here.
Yeah, slight understatement there.
Yeah.
Starting off well, winning the race. Danzo, what about yourself? We'll go to Jos. Jos, what's your favourite track of the season so far? Yep, okay, that explains it. Danzo, what's your favourite track of the season so far?
Alright, I'll speak for Just now. Yeah, it definitely was Silverstone. It's not a favorite track of the season, it's a favorite track of mine whatsoever. And also Adam wasn't there, which helped me a lot with my first win, basically the whole race. Really enjoyed it. Amazing track, and also Mexico, absolutely amazing track. But yeah, I had 12 seconds of penalties there, so just a P3.
Yeah, so, wow, we talk about tracks. We're heading to Singapore for the final round, and we wish you all the best of luck. I'm sure you'll give us a good show, and look, if it rains, don't blame us. But yeah, thank you for the interviews, thank you for your thoughts.
I will.
And okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. No way. And we will see you next time out. But thank you for the interviews, and thank you for giving us your thoughts.
Good night. Congrats, everyone.
Thank you. Well done on the race.
Right, so yeah, as we said, heading to Singapore, the final round here of the PCF2 season in IRL Formula 2 Invictus Racing League. There's lots of words in that one sentence, and I've run out of words to say after that race. And yeah, so Fozzy, take us out of this phenomenal race around Spain.
Well, I struggled to bring us into it. Let's see if I can take us out of it. Yes, that was a great race. We'll see what the championship will end up like in just a week's time as we make our way to Singapore. Will it be a sunny Singapore? Or will it be a rainy Singapore? Well, with me and Keiran commentating, you can be pretty confident there'll be a little bit of rain. But don't forget, you can follow Invictus Racing League on all social medias. Stay up to date with drivers of the day, vote for your favourite, and don't forget to check out the website as well, where you can see all the standings and see what position we're in as we head into this deciding race in Singapore next week. But yeah, great race in Spain by all of our drivers. It was great to be able to speak to them as well at the end there. So Keiran, want to take us out? How have you found that race?
We will see you in Singapore. That race was great. If that's great in Spain, then it's going to be absolutely spectacular in Singapore. We will see you next time. From Fozzy and I, have a good evening and get ready for the final round of PCF2. Who's going to be your champion? Wow, we'll just have to wait another week to find out. Have a good one, everybody, and goodbye.